So we have a special guest, and it's my trophy. It's me. Ashley's just here. The trophy is a special guest. No, this is Paige and Ashley doing a post-show recap podcast episode. So excited.
It's a big deal. It's honestly a big deal.
Really, I think this is like the perfect. I'm just glad P2 has a podcast so that I can just talk.
You will have to say.
I have so much to say. I just spent so long writing the caption because it was too long and I had to cliff note it. So you guys, thank you for tuning in because this is the actual information.
The details.
The deets. So if you are listening, because you're a loyal listener and you don't know what's going on, this past weekend was the Natural Ohio bodybuilding show in Avon, Cleveland, Ohio, and I did it. I competed in the show.
Nobody knew.
And nobody knew. So it was a big deal that I announced it basically show day, and I'm gonna explain why I didn't talk about it and basically just like the whole prep experience. But this trophy is my first place trophy. So cute. For Fit Model. Yeah, so the new division is Fit Model. We'll talk a little bit about that too. I think it's cool to have ongoing discussions. And, you know, me and Ash we prep, we're lifestyle focused, but we've been in the biz. We've been in the biz as competitors for a while. And as most of you know, I learned a ton from the last team that I was on. And I'm so grateful for that experience. And so it's cool to have, I just think, more discussions about what Fit Model is going to be, you know, and we're just two people.
We're learning.
Well, I think I think it's cool just like for anyone to talk about it, you know, and like people who know a lot more than us and even like people who know more or people who know less than us to hear what they think about it.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of thoughts about it at first. I know I did. I had my thoughts. I was like, wait, so somebody can just jump on stage and have the genetics that have the Fit Model.
Well, yeah, I think we can get to that, because I think we both have opened our minds to it, but I think that we knew we had to see what they were going to be rewarding. But anyways, I'm so over the moon excited that I got first in my class because, you know, I didn't really know what was going to happen because you really, even all of the coaches prepping athletes right now are prepping girls for the division based on what they think they're seeing, like based on what's being rewarded. But to be honest, it's not super consistent yet. So, you know, again, we'll talk about this, but I'm just very grateful that I did well because you can hype these like weekends up to be things in your head, and then I'm just grateful.
It all worked out.
Yeah, I'm just really grateful. Yeah. Okay, so should we start from the beginning? Okay, so what's the list? We have a list. So this isn't too long because no one really cares.
Okay, so you have the placings.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I got first. I only did open class. I didn't compete novice, so I got first. And then, went up for the overall, and there were 3 of us in the overall, so there were only 3 height classes. And the feedback that I got was I didn't win the overall. And the feedback that I got was that I was a smidge too conditioned. So truly that's it. So maybe at the end we can kind of talk about what I plan to do with that. But that's all that for now. Okay, so what is first on the list? Oh, so playthings. And then, so I'll just talk about, so the challenge. Okay, so we started our first challenge in January. Yeah, okay, so our first one started literally January 1st, so the 6th. Yeah, cool. So we made it a 10-week fat loss challenge, but that first one was, we called it Bodybuilder's Mindset Method. And we really, really focused on less so getting ready for an actual show and more geared it more towards somebody who wanted to do something really difficult like a prep and even have it without even any interest in doing a show. And I think that's a really cool concept, so I'm sure we'll do that again.
Yeah, it was more about the mindset. Like our close friends did it. So we wanted them to understand what we've experienced and what it takes to like put yourself in something that is uncomfortable and still following through with it.
Right. Because it's, as most people who compete know, it's one thing to follow directions, and it's another thing to follow directions when life is hard, right? And we really pushed them at the end. So, I mean, they were pretty low calorie, not quite contest prep, but hard enough. We pushed them enough that they were going to see a lot in just 10 weeks and see what they were made of. And it was really inspiring. It was really amazing. But in January, when the challenge started, I was 9 months postpartum. I had to calculate it. And so my third she was born in March. So I had kind of all year to be postpartum. I stopped breastfeeding around month 7. And I wasn't tracking, but after 5 years of babies and postpartum, I tracked enough to have an idea, and I feel like we talk about this a lot, but one big takeaway of this podcast is like I was dying to say this, I had it in my caption and then deleted it, is that I was eating enough, if not in a surplus, for like 5 years. And not to like bulk, literally not to get back on stage. It was because I had to eat enough for pregnancy, and then you have to eat enough for breastfeeding. And I really truly believe that combined with small specifics, and my clients know that they have intuitive eating minimums, so they have still parameters to hit, and it involves protein, fiber, and micros. And you guys, that's all I really checked. Curiosity most of the time, but my protein was always over 100 grams. My fiber, it ranged, but I was always 15 to 30. And then I just, you all know, who know me well, that I know my foods that I need to have to get my micros in. And when I would check postpartum, I wouldn't be tracking to hit a particular amount. I would just have the calculation, for my first pregnancy and my second pregnancy. I would know the total calories based on my age, height, pre-pregnancy weight for breastfeeding, because it is more food for breastfeeding than even for pregnancy, based on calculations. It's obviously all individualized, but that is what I do for coaching too. So what I'm trying to say is every time I checked my intakes since having Lily in last March, it was like 2,000 to 3,000 calories. And then, so I wasn't dieting prior to this challenge, prior to this prep. And that is so huge.
You also do that naturally. So we've talked about that a lot of, she feels like she doesn't do anything to recover from her pregnancies, but it's like, we've learned that over the years of tracking. So we learn what our body needs, we learn our hunger cues, satiation cues, and our normal is not normal to somebody else. We've learned it, and then it becomes innate. It becomes what we just do.
Yeah. And I think, like what she said, I don't talk about it as this special thing that I do or this effort that I put in, but it's just because I've actually put in the effort and I've set the provider. Yeah. So that's really huge, you guys, because when I knew that I was heading into 1 year postpartum, I wasn't breastfeeding anymore. And the challenge kind of came at a time. I didn't even set the challenge up to be like, okay, I'm one of the members. The challenge started, and I thought, even a week after it started, Chris did the same thing. Yeah. He got his protocol from me for the challenge like a week and a half after it started, so I did mine too. And I wrote it out the same way I wrote it for all of our challenge members, for myself. Right. And then I followed it week by week. I didn't change anything. I literally did the challenge. I was like, okay, this week I'm changing my macros to this because that's what it says, based on the protocol. And all of a sudden I started getting all these protocols. Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy.
And it was fun because during the challenge, she's like, you guys, I'm doing this too.
Yeah, I'm like, it's refeed week. I'm hungry this week. Right. And I will say there were a lot of, I think 90% of the challenge numbers were parents. Mm-hmm. We even had parents. Yeah. And that was cool too, because we could commiserate in doing something difficult with multiple children. But truly, my prep started, I I knew, let me say this, because I think a lot of people will listen to this who know me. I always knew I'd go back to the stage. I had no idea when. And the way that I've been saying it since the last time I competed was 2019. I did 3 shows, I did get nationally qualified, but I still didn't have a lot of muscle mass. And it just, I started competing in 2015 in bikini, obviously. I did bikini. And then 2019, before I had kids, was like, I was just coming into like who I was as a woman, as like someone who was confident in the space. And then I reversed out of my show, and that December 31st, literally like that January 2020, I got pregnant because that was our plan. But it did sort of leave some unfinished business. It was like, okay, I finally did well in NPC Bikini. And that's when you like take a good off season and then come back. And I like had 3 babies instead, 4 pregnancies and 3 babies. So I was just at my unfinished business. Just because like my posing got better. It was almost even just like I need my stage presence to be on stage one more time, whatever that will look like. It was never like I'm gonna come back to bikini and go pro. Like I didn't have a plan. I just knew that I would probably do it again. And then Fit Model got announced, and we had lots of thoughts because we weren't sure of the look. You know, they kept saying Ashley Caldwell, Ashley Caldwell, and I think that helps because she's like amazing. So it's like, of course, like that's OG bikini, and if that's what they're saying, amazing. Like, and I think it obviously for us, you know, OG bikini. I'm not even OG bikini, but like a lot of people. Yeah, right. I still did stallion pose, like that front model or fit model pose. Like 2015. It's like 16. I think people listening will be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. And a lot of us this past weekend were that. It was like the camaraderie. We'll get to the weekend, but it was so cool being like, we're back, we're back. But it feels like even it's a new division, but it just feels like leaving where we left, picking up where we left off, which I think is cute. But anyways, when it was announced, we kind of let the dust settle, but it was perfect because we were like, great, we have this bodybuilding challenge, we have this new division, right. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and it did. So the Lieberman shows, Dave Lieberman puts on 2 shows a year, and I've competed in his shows multiple times before. And I had 2 bikini girls that I asked to come to compete at the Lieberman so that I could be at the show. I'll admit I don't travel a lot right now with my 3 kids being 1, 2, and 4. Eventually I'll travel more, but I was like, can you come? Because I'll be there. And because it was a local show for me, I was like, like maybe I could do it.
We were talking about it for a while.
It was kind of so. Ashley was the first person that I said this to. I was like, "Am I being dumb? Like, how do we feel? You know, just not dumb, but like, let's talk about it." Yeah. You know, what were your initial thoughts?
I think I was more biased against it.
Yeah.
I think you were very open to it, but I just thought like, I don't want people to, like I said, be on stage and just never prep. I think the experience of prep is such a big part of what bodybuilding is, and knowing that you have to like critique everything that you're doing and incorporate every different aspect of it into your life without letting it consume. And that's something we'll talk about too. But I do think Fit Model, I do have a different perspective on it now. But I think it does give people an opportunity to do bodybuilding that maybe thought that they never could. And that's how I feel now is, I'm sorry, I don't have glutes for bikini. I just won't, I don't. So I think that model might be in my future, but
yes, for sure. Yeah, I think we, you know, in the beginning, like again, Ashley being being the face of it, it's like that's not great. Let's go back to OG bikini because bikini now is so, I don't want to say unattainable because I mean, let's be honest, we could get the glutes, but a lot goes into that. We could get.
We have other priorities.
And even I mean, we just there like I want to like let's be honest, we could be enhanced and we could get the glutes. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying like I just don't want you to sell yourself short and be like, I could never do it. You could, but what it takes is like these girls are insanely amazing, is what my brain is. Is like you want to be bikini, like you're signing up for like
consumption.
Oh, it's like you're a beast. Like, and I think that's really cool. I love the bikini look. I love that that's what it is, but I do, their take on it is that they don't want to make people feel that that is the first entry level of the sport. And I can appreciate that, because I love what bikini is, but it did used to be a slightly more attainable.
Yeah. We had conversations this weekend with other coaches, and they were saying, my clients don't want to look like that now. It's not something they want their everyday look to be, which I understand that.
Yeah. And if you do want to look like that, the whole thing is, it's not just a you lift for a year and then prep anymore. You lead regionally possibly, but to get to a national show or bikini, you need years of lifting, like not just muscle workouts in Ohio. Like you need to train for years for that, and that's less attainable, And my take on fit model was I want competing to be a bodybuilding sport, like to my core. Like even if I'm not a bodybuilding coach, like if that's not. I just am so team that you are a bodybuilder before you're a competitor.
It's a sport.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that fit model still felt like bodybuilding. And again, Ashley Coulter, that look still did, but as it's been rolling out, the people that they've been picking in regional shows, like they don't really look like Ashley Coulter, obviously. So they're figuring it out, and I think that's good. And we can kind of talk about that, but yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting to. The rest of the year will be very telling.
Yeah. As all the shows roll out, nationals roll out, and depending on who the judges are, I think regional shows are different than the bigger shows, national shows.
Yeah. A lot of the coaches were saying, like, making good points that once there's going to be a fit model pro show this year, and so the pros that come out of nationals and do that first pro show and win, that's when we're really going to know what the look is, right?
Because we loved your look.
I loved my look. I loved my look.
I was like, there's no way. This is not what they want.
And you never know that. I feel like that. I think that's what's really cool. So we can talk about that. So like, I think of course, you guys was like bummed I'm a human being. I was like, no, I didn't get the overall. But I think what's really cool is they have to be very careful about what they think what they're picking for what they want the look to be. Right. And like these judges are amazing. Like they're amazing humans, and they're figuring it out. They're like we're still trying to figure it out. And like even my feedback was like, you missed it, but like not by much. And I'm like, okay, but I think it's cool. I think that's a big part of the sport. Like anyone listening who wants to get into it, you can't just make this a one and done. Like I'm gonna do well and that's it, or I'm gonna do it and not do well and I suck. It's like that's not to be committed. Like I totally appreciate that they wanted that look over mine for the face of the show. But you get a second opinion. Yeah. And I think again, like even my second opinion won't know, and like they won't know for sure. Depending on bodybuilding. That's what I'm really so right. Yeah, so that's the ride.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are, who you're against, and that's the thing. You can't take it to heart so much because you could do a show this weekend and do a show next weekend and have a completely different outcome because you're against different people. You are in front of different judges. And so that's a huge part is understanding to not let it consume you because we do have real life. Unless you're bodybuilding for your business and you're making money off of it,
it's an expensive hobby that we love, that is a sport because, again, you're a bodybuilder before you're a competitor, and listen, if you want me to coach you and you want Ashley to coach you, you're a bodybuilder first before anything. But yeah, you said adaptability, and I love that because that's quite literally what it is.
Right.
You just have to be adaptable. Right. Because I always say this, you can be a bodybuilder and not compete. You can live the life, you can build your body, you can train right, you can change the way you look. Yeah. You can even lean out and like be that without competing, because competing is getting judged for your muscularity, your size, your conditioning, which is level of leanness, but then also your overall presence and look. And so if you don't want to lose based on your makeup and hair or your smile in like your confidence on stage, then competing isn't what you want bodybuilding is, you know? But if you feel like I don't believe that you need to win at shows to be the best. You know, like if you want to be a bodybuilder and be the sport and like be the I don't necessarily think that I mean, sport maybe because that's like the sport for us. But if you want the look, I'll say you don't have to compete to get the look, you know. But I think if you are interested in that and can be adaptable and feel like a thrill of like, oh, my hair. Like I remember in 2019, I did 3 shows. My first show, I had ombre hair. I had this beautiful shout out to Chelsea, beautiful ombre hair, meaning it was dark on top and kind of faded to the lighter brown. The lighter brown matched my tan. And I'm not saying that's why I didn't place as well, but it was one of the first things the judges said to me, meaning you didn't pop on stage because, and your hair was part of that, right? And it sucked to hear, but also like, okay, dyeing my hair back. and then the next show, I got first place. Right. So I think if that sounds like bullshit to you,
That's a conversation that we have. Yeah. Your why. And I think that we can go into more detail about her why, but it's something really big that if somebody wants to compete, we want to understand why. Is it because you just want that look, or is it because you're passionate about it and you want to be competitive in something, and that's like how you've lived your life? If you played sports when you were younger, like that is okay. But if it's just
to be committed, that's like that's where the sport mindset comes out. Like you can't just do it because you want to be smaller. You have to do it and be fully prepared for someone else to look better than you because they will. You know what I mean? In everything, in essence, and you have to be competitive. Like if my girls don't brush their curls out, I'm pissed. You know, like it's like that stuff lights me up, which is why I know I still want to be a coach. Like we are team lifestyle, but it is part of why I know I still want to coach it because it like makes me happy to like micromanage the little things for the people who want that, you know.
Yeah. But I think also another point is that we want you to still have a healthy mindset. We're going to make sure like this is going to be a whole nother podcast, so like reversing out of the show. Like we want you to know that you have support, that you're going to be guided properly, and that's how we are with our challenges too. We're not just like, oh, you lost a bunch of body fat, now go on your way. No, we're going to guide you and make sure that you are supported fully and that we know you're in a healthy place, not only physically, but also mentally.
Yeah. So my why, let's just keep it moving because it's already so long. So I truly like Fit Model was so opportunistic for me because they are looking for a softer look than bikini. And that technically means, in theory, that you don't have to diet as hard. And so I don't want to say it's easier. I worked really, really hard, but it probably was easier, right? Like if I had to condition for bikini, if I had to obviously take more time to build, like bikini is harder. And so when Fit Model came, I thought, and I mentioned this in my caption today, I didn't feel I had any business. Like no one wanted me to compete. No one needed me to compete. I didn't even have a time frame for when I wanted to do it again. So I had no business like pushing for something that like didn't fit. And when Fit Model came about, it was like, okay, that's more tame. Like truly the results I got in the challenge made me realize that I could do Fit Model. Not because it's easy, but because I set myself up very well. And my body responded very well because I have a good mindset of doing it. And like no one knew I was prepping because I just did it. Like like you just like I didn't make it this even for my family a thing. And when that went well in the 10-week challenge, it solidified that this is an okay time to do it because my why for doing it right now, which is an exactly 1 year postpartum, crazy, 1 year postpartum, 4 pregnancies, 3 babies, from 2020 to 2024, I had 3 babies. So 1 year postpartum, my why truly is like celebrating, I'm gonna cry, who I have become as a woman and like how amazing a woman's body is. Like that, it's insane that we grow literal humans And, that I have had the privilege of being able to do that, and slightly a celebration, like that I don't do this for myself very often, but that I have learned so much and take care of myself. Like kind of giving myself a moment to shine and be like, look at what you've done for yourself,
Paige's done so much, like not only for her clients, but also the coaches that work with her and under her. And
You're amazing.
we're emotional.
We're an emotional wreck.
I'm recording under the stage. I'm like, people are around me. I'm like yelling. I'm so sorry. You're like, do your thing. But then, like, when she got switched to first, I love that.
No, but I will say, like, this is like I'm really proud of what like the last year has been, and it's been super emotional. Like, I had a really amazing experience, like coaching the 5 years before PTO. Like, I really like I really feel grateful, and making the switch to P2 and then like taking on. I never had assistant coaches, like I'm growing something new, and it's been amazing. And like the fact that Ashley has been the first assistant coach, like I'm really not a universe girly.
The universe is not a universe,
but the universe is universing. That's funny because I don't think that anyone else should have been my first assistant coach. No, like there are some things in my life that have happened that I'm like, there's no way that that's just chance. And Ashley's one of them. And um, what I'm saying is what the last year has been in my life. Like I still have 40 to 50 clients that I manage myself. I have assistant coaches now. We're running multiple challenges like quarterly. I have prep athletes. I literally prepped and peaked 2 athletes for the same show that I peaked myself for.
And you peaked yourself.
I peaked myself.
What are you doing?
She was like my mini coach. Sometimes I would be like, actually, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Actually, I got it.
Yeah.
But then also I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And one of them is a baby.
Right.
So I do feel like this truly was a like my why is like, I want to celebrate that. Like this feels like the perfect opportunity to celebrate that. And so let's just quickly lead into why I didn't tell anyone. It wasn't truly for the shock factor, although of course that's always fun. I really didn't want anyone's input. I really wanted it to be for me. Yeah, like I don't know everything, so it's not that I didn't want anyone's input because they were wrong. But you get in your head and then it becomes almost somebody else's. Like for me to know and be in control of it, it was mine. It was like either my mistake or my success.
I think you also waited. You waited to make sure that you were doing it for the right reasons, number one, but also that it wasn't, like you said, going to affect your everyday life with your work, with your clients, with your kids, with your partner.
Yeah. So I didn't tell my clients. I didn't even tell the 2 girls competing until they already had their peak week plans. Because you don't need to worry about me. Right. And it was fun. It was more of a celebration. Like, guess what? You knew I'd be there. I'm actually going to do it. And because I am actually surprised we'll get to. And I told my client group chat, so all of my clients, the day before my show, so they got the exclusive before social media. And that was awesome. But I even got comments from clients being like, I had no idea you were prepping, and I'm so grateful.
You were reading those.
Yeah, like and that means a lot because I don't want to. Bodybuilding is amazing, but it's also an expensive hobby, and I don't want it to affect what really matters, which is your family and your job. For me at least, I love my job so much that I why would I prep and have it affect something that like I actually love, and that's my client. So that was really important to me, and I wanted to just be like, let me just see what happens.
She was so chill about it, and I'm like, Paige, you're freaking me out because this type A over here was type C.
But I feel that really was like, because I got it. Like I really felt like I was so confident that like I was very at peace with how I handled it, and also like I think it was funny because I was chill in a way of like Ashley was like, you like wrote your protocol, right? You're not just like winging it, right? And I was like, yes, I did. Like, I did that. But I definitely this is what was nice about not involving anyone. Like, I wrote it and then followed it. I didn't second guess it. There were moments, it's my first time coaching myself, obviously. So, of course, there were moments that, like, when I gave myself a refeed, I was like, am I just hungry or is this strategic? But, like, I was a coach for myself. And God, that's so cool. If I never fucking communicated like that, it's so cool for me. So that's
I couldn't do that because I think a huge part of nutrition and things that we tell our clients is accountability is number one. Like we can write you a protocol, but maybe you'll follow it if you have that ability. But a lot of people need accountability, and that's why we love the challenges too. Because every week we're on a call, we're checking your stuff and making sure that you are going to achieve what you want to. Mm-hmm. And that's how a prep is. Mm-hmm. Accountability, making sure that the progress is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I took my checking photos. I sent them to Ashley, she's my head girl. Yeah. And really quick shout out to Chris. So Chris is doing my training. Chris Beal. If you don't know him, no, Chris has been doing my training since January, basically, and I was using P2 OnDemand prior to that. So basically, still programs written by Chris and Bryce, and that speaks to P2 OnDemand. Hello. That's what our challenge members use. That's basically what I used postpartum to get ready for my prep. I'm like being so real that like when we talk about P2 OnDemand, it's not just this like money grab. We got some workouts in here. It's like this is the cheapest way to have access to what we do. A program. Hell yeah. Like that's what I followed. And then, Chris, I did his nutrition for the challenge and he's training me. And obviously his training helped a lot too. And I think that accountability helped. A lot of you guys know that I kind of train in the evenings. And I don't do that because I like it. I think that people should know.
In a cold garage.
A cold ass garage. Like, I'm so lucky to have a garage. I had a little bit of extra money to be like, Brad, can we do this now? Right when we moved into the house, and we did it. And there were moments, pregnancy, that I'm like, it is too cold, but like, I was at a place where and Chris's check-ins helped, like someone's looking, and I just felt more comfortable being like, do it scared. Right. I'm more comfortable being uncomfortable. And that was also a big sign that I can do this. Like, I should be doing this now because my mindset was good. But I made it work because I'm sure people are like, how did you do that with 3 kids? I just made hoodies for my clients and it said, do it scared. But really it's do it _, meaning do it tired, do it cold, do it annoyed. I was so I wasn't happy the entire time. I wasn't carefree, the entire time. If I wish that I had the time to work out earlier. And so if it got to be 5 and then 6 and then 7 p.m., I'm like, great. Okay, so now I am gonna have to put the kids to bed and then go work out after. That's annoying. That's rough. But I can work out annoyed. I can follow a training program pissed off. Right. And I think one thing that I realized, that I've matured to realize, is that it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's hard to get out of. I'm helping a lot of my new mom clients with that, who were bodybuilders, because to me, a good lift is a gym, and over an hour, and no distractions. That's those are 3 things that are the opposite of my life. Right. I can't not. You can ask Chris when I give feedback for each lift, it's preparedness, focus, energy, endurance, mind muscle connection, never 5. 0 out of 5, never put a 5. And that's just me being honest, but I got first place. I want you guys to know that you can have 3s and 4s and 2s and do it. So just do it scared, do it tired, do it annoyed. One of my clients said, do it lazy, whatever. Do it lazy. I would work out in my pajamas, not my underwear. My pajama, I would big baggy sweats, slides if I didn't, if I was slippers, if I was throwing them off for lifts. That's so different from how I used to lift when it was an outfit and a campsite, like E says, and I'm gonna be so prepared for this, because sometimes that's just not in the cards. But it's okay.
But it's still you showing up for yourself.
But I still did it. Yeah. I still did it despite how I wish it was. And it works. All right, what else? This is a good pod. I love it. Thank you guys for listening.
I think you talked about that, how you handled it with not affecting your family.
Right. Yeah, I will say, like, any prep, you guys, like, is gonna be hard. And I was hungry. I mean, I dieted. I prepped myself, and so I did get low calorie. Like, the level of leanness, for anyone who's not really in the bodybuilding world listening to this, the level of leanness that I am right now is not maintainable. This is like, even if it's fit model and slightly more attainable, I'm still a level of leanness that is not abnormal. It's not even like what we're promoting for our challenges. This is like the extra, which,
well, it kind of makes me happy that you like. I don't want fit model to not be a struggle. Like,
no, right?
It's
It's
a struggle.
right.
So here, it wasn't easy. It was hard, but I still did it.
But I did it.
So
like, I don't want to say it like didn't affect me at all. Like, I was hungry, and to be honest, you guys, like, I'm 34, right? I've been competing for 10 years, but I've been in brand doing it for 10 years. I would like go to bed and be like, I'm so hungry, and be like, you chose to do this.
You couldn't share bites.
In the literal, yeah, I think like Isabel would want it like bites of my oatmeal, and I'd be like, oh baby, let me get you something else because that's weighed and measured. But no, but Brad being like, you decided to do this is all I needed to snap me right on at it. Like, I am hungry,
Right.
but I'm gonna go to bed,
Right.
and it's gonna be fine. Like, no one is forcing me to do a show. Nobody's forcing me to diet like this. And that felt good. It was like he was a perfect support system in that, like, I got you, babe, whatever you need. And you chose this. So, like, let's
Shout out to Brad for holding up the fort.
So Brad did come to the show really quickly, and that wasn't because I didn't want him there, obviously. And the girls, and I think in my head, so in my head, I did always think, okay, I'm gonna have kids, and then I'm gonna get back on stage and like pull like an Amy where she's like holding her. I mean, all of this stuff. Where you have your little kids like with you backstage, and we're not backstage, but just at the show.
Yeah.
And I did always see that for myself, but it didn't make sense for me to have Brad and the girls there because they're a lot. I mean, they're 1, 2, and 4. Zoe being 4 would have been chill. Isabel being 2 would have loved it, but been
in moments.
Oh, in moments. She would have like cared for 20 minutes at a time, and that's like a lot to manage. And then a literal baby would have been fine if maybe it was just Lillian and it was just Lillian for Brad to manage. But it just would have been more stress for me and more comfortable for Brad to be here. And he obviously was getting updates. So that's why they weren't there, but it felt amazing to have his support here. And like coming home to them felt the same as if I would have seen them
right
after the show. So like the video, thank you for the videos and stuff, because those are the moments I want to remember. And like
the I can't wait.
I can't wait. Yeah. And they're just amazing. They're so great. So yeah, and I think it's not what I pictured. I definitely pictured involving my family with like my debut, but this felt better. This felt more manageable
because this was doing it for you as a mom. Like, you're a mom above everything else, right? So the fact that you could do this for yourself while still being a mom,
yeah,
I think it was impactful
and partnership is huge for that. Like, that's we talk about that in our free time. But I feel like having Brad and I's partnership, and that he does musical pursuits and I do coach work pursuits is really nice.
Cleveland, why it was so.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll make this quick. Yeah. So because I took this out of my caption. So I was, and shout out to, first of all, everyone who was there, because I also took this out too. So like Coach Yee drove up from Columbus. He's like,
I met Yee for the first time.
Bestie, that's our bestie. So Coach Yee came up, and then we made him stay for finals, which he wanted to, but we were like, okay, well, you're hanging out with us the rest of the day. My mom came, and my mom is such a good, like, an amazing supporter of the sport. She's always been. So even when in 2015, 16, when I said I was going to do it, and like not doing well, even she was like, "I'll be there," like.
I was repping P2.
Yeah, she was. So she came. My friend Bethany, who also has been this OG, she just shows up for you. Mm-hmm. She came, and then I will say my like other girlfriends had a birthday party back in Akron that Brad took the girls to, and they were sending me updates of the girls, and it was just like it felt good. And then. That's all it came, right? So then that was my clients and their families, which was cute. But then being at Lieberman, there, I didn't realize this would happen, but there were so many OGs there because it's the Lieberman show. And what is so cool is I was there with people that I met 10 years ago at LA Fitness in Cuyahoga Falls. And like, we're all like still doing it in such different ways. Like, it was so cool to be like, hi.
But that represents bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like that, it's always a part of your life. So we may be competing when we're 60. Like,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not from a bodybuilding family, so it's really cool to like be creating this, you know. My mom was an athlete though, by the way. She was a Kent State gymnast and track,
Which is like a
and she did that
yeah.
thing, yeah. And she coached gymnastics for 25 years at Kent. But anyways, so I came from athletes, but bodybuilding's different, and it was just so nice to be in Cleveland. It just, again, it was kind of a full circle thing for me. Like, the timing worked out, the division worked out, the challenge lining up worked out, and then it being Cleveland with my clients, like, not an inconvenience for travel. It just worked, and it felt so at home. And it was the best I've ever felt on stage. Like, I've never had a show day like that ever before in my life.
Yeah. You were super chill.
I was so chill. It like makes me so happy to have that, because I never had that before. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to talk more about your feedback? Or?
Yeah, then we can wrap up. Is that
There's like talking about the next challenge.
Okay.
And what's next for you?
Oh, okay. I don't know that I know for sure yet, so we'll just say that. So my feedback
is next.
Something is next. I think I touched on it earlier. Like, because they're still figuring out the division, it would be silly to not get more feedback. And I think I'm very proud, although I didn't get the overall. I'm really proud that my feedback wasn't change anything.
It wasn't ground.
She basically was like, stay the same eventually. And so it's weird, you know, I think at first that's disappointing, but it's not, because I chose to do a new ass division that they don't even, you know, they're figuring out. So I think that I was quickly able to be like, okay, this is cool. Let's do this together. Like, let's figure this out together. All I know is I'm going to be competing again. And I think I literally don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that, not to be secretive, but literally because I actually don't know yet, but I will be competing again. If not, if for no other reason other than just to see what somebody else says. So stay tuned, and I don't know if I'll keep it as secretive anymore. So just keep, stay tuned.
She'll be posted.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah. Okay, so we have the bodybuilder's mindset. Now we have the next challenge, which actually started yesterday.
NACR started yesterday.
And our first call is tonight.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more members this time. And I think because our last one was so successful, like, we just started the challenges kind of like, okay, let's do this. Because we want other people to be able to work with us, and
at different price points for like less intensely, kind of more touch basey, like just tell me what to do. Our one-on-one clients get more one-on-one support, right? But the challenges are a way of just get it done. Yeah. Let's just get it done. Like, access to us, you get a ton of perks with the challenges. Like, with it, again, we'll wrap up here, but the challenges are 10 weeks long. You do 11 calls, one in the beginning and then one at the end as well. You get personalized protocol in that we have a nutrition questionnaire that you're filling out. So age, height, weight, but also like dieting history, your current intakes, all of it. So it's personalized to you. We start you in a particular place, we end you in a particular place. It's aggressive because true fat loss, not just the scale. Like, if you need to get away from the scale, hire me and Ashley. Right? We have a lot to say about it. But if you want true fat loss, one of two things have to happen: slow and steady. So you take a long time, or you're slightly more aggressive.
Which is a prep, right? And that's 20 weeks or more long. So that's why our 10-week is going to be a little bit more
aggressive. And the only way something more aggressive works is if we set you up first. So that's another part of our challenges. Is I don't know a lot of other challenges that have like homework prior, or that like don't accept people. And we don't accept people not to be exclusive, but because we only want you to do our challenge if it's going to work for you. And surprise, it's only going to work if you're eating enough before doing the challenge. So that's the main thing, is before you do any type of fat loss challenge that is actually aggressive for fat loss, eat enough. And if you don't know what that means, we will help you. We have Keto on Demand that we talk about. It's not just workouts, it is our member portal. It's our online website for anybody who even isn't a client who pays for access. And it's as low as $14.99, $15 a month. And you get all of our modules that Ashley and I have written, and Ashley wrote, we did it together when she was an intern, and then she got hired and she's going to be in our team soon. And we wrote these modules so that you guys can take yourself through things, and they're based on how we coach. Like we're able to write these educational modules literally based on like
Step by step.
Like I already have the emails that I write. I already have the like resources that I send. So one of them is I call it this metabolism reset, which sounds this like woo, or like like yeah, but what I mean by that is metabolism is affected by how much you eat, and whether or not you're feeding your body what it needs to have a healthy thyroid, a healthy gut, and be able to perform things like building muscle, anabolism, fat oxidation. You need vitamins and minerals. So the metabolism reset, it's only 6 weeks long, and it's focused on helping you figure out your maintenance macros. So basically just what you need to be eating as a human being at your age, height, weight. And then the last couple of weeks focuses on how to track your micronutrients and increase it. There's a 10-page PDF with food sources that I've put together for particular micronutrients. There's a worksheet that you get that helps you find foods that you actually like that will hit the micros that are low. So it's basically, if you want to do a challenge, we're like, here's our metabolism reset.
And we did that.
Let's do it.
We did that before those challenges. We had a bunch of people in the metabolism reset.
Yeah.
They saw success.
One of them started to see fat loss in just the 6-week metabolism reset, eating at maintenance and tracking her micros. It was like 10 pounds.
Because most people
Before the challenge,
eating
under eating, you guys. They come to us for weight loss. They say weight loss, we say fat loss. They say, I want to lose weight, and they're under eating. So it's just like our whole vibe. So the challenge is we make sure that you're set up for that. And our next one, so we're currently starting one. It's 10 weeks long, starting today, right now, yesterday, and it goes for 10 weeks. We're already taking spots for one that we're technically going to start in July. If we get enough interest and you guys can start earlier, we'll start earlier. We just need, obviously time to get people in it. But if it fills up, we'll start it. We're ready to go.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about it, ask us.
Mm-hmm.
Set yourself up for success now, because we don't want people
what
to
to do.
apply, and then in July we're like,
you can't, you're not ready. This is like the perfect time. You have lots of time to figure out. If you've never tracked before, start now. It's just, getting used to, and I have my book, Macro Tracking with a Purpose.
That's like a whole nother podcast.
I know. But like if you've never tracked before, you can also start with that module and then go to the metabolism reset module and then apply for the challenge for fat loss. Like we have it all, and it's not hundreds of dollars to work with us. Right? This is literally right now the early bird pricing works out to $35 a week. Works out that way. You pay for
accountability.
We will literally $35 a week to work with a dietitian and get a personalized protocol. Anyways, I love you so much, Trophy special guest. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for listening.
And if you have questions about again anything that we've said, because it was a lot, specifically about Keto on Demand and what we offer, or the challenges. Like I said, we're even taking deposits to reserve your spot. Or fit model. Who wants to do fit model with me?
I'm convinced, you guys. I might do this challenge that we are starting right now.
Oh my god, we'll see. So thanks for listening. Love you guys.
Love you guys.